Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow on the East West with the GNE TV. It is a pleasure for me. It is also a privilege for me sitting here as your host, because every now and then we touch some important issues, especially with my friend Ken Hemming. He is a very well-informed personnel, and he has a solid foundation for his love to Constitution. I think we should all do. And of course, he is very referential to the community. He helps a lot with the community. And he and I, like I said, we always together have lots of time, regardless of agreeing to each other, disagree to each other, or even argue over issues we enjoy together. Today in the weekly update, we want to first touch base with you the UN speech made by President of the United States, Donald Trump. So, Ken, welcome to the show. And you want to start with how you feel about the speech?
Yeah, I'd like to say, number one, everybody knows this is the happiest hour of my week, okay? Mm-hmm. Also, you mentioned the Constitution. My tie has the Constitution on it.
We the people.
It says, we the people, and the whole Constitution is on my tie. Mm-hmm. And also, I'd like to say, today is my grandson's 1-year-old birthday, Clayton, and I love him so much. And tomorrow is my brother's birthday, and I like him pretty much.
All right,
okay.
Good. Okay.
But compared to my grandson,
happy birthday to both of them.
Yeah, so that's really good. So I get to kiss them all.
Your grandson, your brother.
Yeah, so I'm happy. Now, and the other thing I'm happy about, I got up yesterday. I set my alarm because at 7:30 time was when President Trump was going to, on the West Coast time, 10:30 on the East Coast, to do a speech at the United Nations. And it was interesting because the president of, I think, Ecuador went about 18 minutes over, so President Trump started about 18 minutes later, standing out there in the background. Pretty interesting. But anyway, so you never know exactly what's going to happen. And I've seen many speeches by different presidents at the United Nations. I'm not a great fan of the United Nations. We have pulled our country off their Human Rights Council because many of the countries on there have no human rights. It's really amazing. But so that's a good thing that he did. And then he gave this speech, and I was just really, it was always on focus, on point. His highlights, which you could talk about in any way you want, the need with Iran. He's at the United Nations really challenging Iran in their terrorism use of our $1,800,000,000 that we gave to them under the Iran nuclear agreement, and also then during that, you mentioned our relationship with South Korea. They did a free trade agreement yesterday, a new one between South Korea and us, and also then talking about progress. President Trump will announce today when he meets with Kim Il-jung again for North Korea. So the whole thing was dignified, it was focused, and one of the real things is he says he recognized everybody's national sovereignty. And he said, we are not a part of globalization where you're dictated to by unelected bureaucrats around the world how we should live. We will live America how we want to live based on our Constitution. And every country has their right to develop their own personality.
There's one point I would like to share with you.
Yes, sir.
Right. Lots of people misunderstood the slogan of putting America first.
Yeah.
To them, they say by putting America first, they always take it for granted that whoever says it wants to be the leader of the world.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? This is the one mystifying area. And number two, by putting America first doesn't necessarily mean, as Donald Trump confirms it, that we are selling our ideology.
Correct.
Our lifestyle.
Right. Perfectly.
That you always want to do this, you always do this.
Right.
And then, well, together, he says that putting America first is, as long as I'm president of the United States, I will always put the United States first, right?
Yes.
And that does not necessarily mean that we impose. He used the word impose.
You're good.
The lifestyle, our lifestyle,
Right.
to all of other nations.
Right.
We just want to set you an example. If you decide to follow,
Yeah.
follow. You're
Yeah.
welcome to follow.
Yeah, and we're not randomly into regime changes, you know.
Yeah. Otherwise, you will do whatever you want to do to yourself.
Yeah.
And by putting your nation first, something like that.
Yeah.
That is the point that I need to clarify, because lots of people last time before last night though, before I heard that, have commented that, putting America first, meaning to play number one on earth, to be the leader of the world.
Yeah, he's just saying, let us have our sovereignty. I respect your sovereignty, and we hope that we can compatibly coexist with whatever different ideologies you have for your country. Now, we think there are some ideologies that are dangerous.
Coexistence, his first layer.
Yeah.
And on his first layer, he laid down, said, coexistence is the condition, right, in peace.
Yes.
Right? Peacefully, whatever, we settled whatsoever, we coexist at a time which is full of trouble, right?
Yeah.
That trouble in part calls upon us to collaborate to get the job done.
Yes.
Right? Speaking of collaboration, he sends up the welcome for them to come join if they decide to. If they're not, play your own game, enjoy your own self. That's it.
And he specifically said, all of us here need to make our own nations greater again. He said, I want you all to be greater than you are now or you were yesterday, something like that. So he was encouraging just, prosperity is the big word, okay? We still have people, there's always people in poverty because that's just the human way, okay?
He says that all and each sovereign countries needs to put their nation first.
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
We expect that.
And go ahead, do it. We respect that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Just understand that we putting America first does not hurt anybody.
No, we're not trying to take energy out of anybody else.
Same as you're putting yourself first does not hurt us either.
And all of the trade issues are just to try to have an even playing field, okay? We're not trying to hurt them. We're not trying to hurt Canada, one of our great allies. They do have these huge tariffs on our farm products. And also, I believe with South Korea, there's going to be more farm agricultural business being done between our two countries. He doesn't want to hurt any other country. He just wants us. We have been a patsy, okay? We have been the toy for everybody that assumes America will never stand up for itself because we're so good.
Given the time of the global earth right now, which I said be troubled at this very moment, do you think that his speech would help make a better understanding of who we are?
I absolutely do. It was actually, I haven't printed it out and read it yet, but I shall. I listened to it very carefully, and I've seen reruns of it. I want to have it in print in front of me. It was dignified, it was presidential, and it was leadership.
I listened, but I haven't seen the script yet.
Yeah. It
You have
was
the
really
script?
good. Yeah.
You have script?
Well, at home.
Yeah, I know, but when you get home, you can send me the script.
Oh, yeah, you can get it easy.
All right, good.
Yeah.
But I feel good. I listened to it. I listened very attentively. Oh, I noticed there are two moments when somebody, almost all the time, nobody goes across the camera.
Well, and nobody walked out either.
Yeah, goes in front of camera.
Yeah.
There are only twice, each about a blink of a second, and somebody go across the camera.
Walk across the
camera. I really wanted to find out who they are.
But you know, the Iranians were there, the Russians were there, and you know, nobody walked out, which is kind of interesting, which is good.
Iranian, Russian representatives, they stayed there on their seat.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that, yeah.
Because there have been times, okay, where people, you know, walk out. But for different presidents, you know, different, not only of America, just in the world, leadership in the world. And then also then today, he was the chairman of the U.S., the Security Council meeting. And we have a conservative president running that Security Council, which of course, key nations in there have veto votes, which make it dysfunctional.
That is the time he really exercised his power.
He did.
All right. To say the Security Council, right?
Yeah.
Let's do something to secure the world.
Yeah.
Right? And then he will be talking about fees.
The Iranian leader Rouhani was there. They haven't met, but I do predict, okay, like a year ago at the speech at the United Nations is when he was talking about the fat boy from North Korea, okay, Rocket Man. And now they're amigos, you know, we're getting along, we're hoping. He's going to announce later today, when they're going to meet again. And you know, they're not going to meet twice unless they think there can be some really constructive progress. And South Korea and North Korea met again with the summit, and I predict with comfort that there'll be because the Korean War has not officially ended, that there will be an agreement between North and South that will end the war.
Very good. Okay, let's take a short moment now. We'll be right back, please. Welcome, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show for this weekly's update. Jack Chow on the East West Show as your host. With me today is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a big man of the community of Southern California. He is a friend to the community, and we together putting our focuses to the speech made by President Donald Trump at the United Nations conference. And I believe it's a long time people want to systematically hear something from the United States, all right? There are different takes, there are different takes from different perspectives whatsoever, all a piece in piece, all right? All kind of broken pieces, all together for a president of the United States to be on that seat, to be at the moment to deliver to the world, though, that's a quite different story, all right?
Yeah,
and you expect to see area by area, by area, by area, he displays where the United States is, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And the part of
the agenda.
The part of North Korea, how did you comment about what he says over there?
Well, when you just say that, Jack, right now I can see just as clear as I see this studio, I see President Trump and the North Korean leader coming out from opposite doors and walking toward each other, which nobody in the world would thought would happen. And they smile and they shake hands and all this sort of stuff. That was a miracle, okay? It was a miracle.
And the camera gave it exactly quite enough exposures, I believe.
It did. You're right.
Yeah.
And then
you can tell from the angle and the length of the scenes.
Yeah.
You can tell where the photographer stands.
You know, you would have thought it was impossible. Now, I never think anything's impossible with President Trump. And I believe there'll be a meeting with President Trump and the Iranian leader eventually. Because nobody.
It sounds that we're heading that way.
Well,
we'll touch Iran when we come back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this part with North Korea.
Well, and then
with Kim.
Yeah, then our media, of course, was saying, well, we didn't make enough progress. You know, the whole thing is it's a process. It takes time. And I believe that the North Korean leader said to the South Korean leader that they hope for really denuclearization by the end of President Trump's first term. and they have agreed. Now I don't know whether they'll do it or not. So because we have to be skeptic too of them, to have Americans on the ground there when they're destroying or tearing down certain nuclear test sites or ballistic sites where you could send your missiles. So, but to have, this is great. I mean, just think of it, to have Americans on the ground in North Korea with an office established of cooperation, form a place, they get up and go to work. Holy cow, what can I say? And so then when they meet again, everything takes time. You can't just do it. It's a process. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Sorry for that.
No,
but
my fault.
before I forget, though,
Yeah.
time here means that you want to effectively use the time when President Donald Trump is in power,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Of course, you're talking about re-election. He could be re-elected. What if he isn't, right? So you're talking about within the effectively 2 years of frame, right?
Right.
We probably want to get it done.
We want to get it where at least it cannot be stopped or seized upon.
Cannot be reversed.
Right, cannot be reversed. Thank you for a better word.
Yeah.
Pompeo, our Secretary of State, is going over there again in October to meet with Kim. And Trump's going to announce today exactly when they're going to meet. It probably won't be Singapore again, but someplace neutral they'll meet. Without hope, how do you wake up in the morning? I wake up with hope in the morning that I'm not going to be in pain, that my brain's still going to work, and that we're in a semi-peaceful world. Okay, and not too many kids starve to death. I mean, those kind of things. That's what you hope for. So there is hope, and patience is one of the most important words in my life.
However, there was one time when Kim canceled the meeting. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Canceled the meeting out of no reason.
Right.
Right. And lots of people were waiting to see how the United States shall respond.
We responded perfectly.
And we did nothing. We responded nothing.
Yeah, no problem.
We responded with a silence.
And he came back real quickly and said, okay, let's meet.
Yeah, the amazing part is that we responded to zero action.
Which is good.
Which is good.
And I think President Trump is one of the world's great poker players. Nobody really knows what's in his hand, what's in his mind. But he is far ahead in thinking. I believe he knows 5 steps down the line what his intent is going to be.
And then, amazingly, he came back.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Yeah, no problem.
And then, by then, we can see, all right, probably we can have... all right. At least we have the situation so far locked within the range, right?
Well, see, here's Kim has to receive something very important and beneficial to him to go along with this.
Donald Trump says to do something before anything arrives.
No, I know that. But to try to have this go through, we're talking. President Trump and those are talking to Kim about their economy of North Korea. They have people literally starving while we're doing the show. It's a terrible lifestyle in North Korea. That there's hope that they can be revitalized if they do need, with verification, denuclearize. We will help them build a stronger economy. We're happy to do that. So is South Korea. I don't see them coming together in reunification, as one country, because it can't be a dictatorship.
For a nation as strong as we are, both militarily and economically, we don't think there is anything we cannot do.
Well, and for Kim to know that he will be allowed to keep his regime, he can be maybe
it's
as
much
nasty
better,
as he wants.
It's much better he understands it.
Right, and if he doesn't, he'll be dead. I mean, because we're not going to let him.
Of course.
It's not a hard choice.
Take Saddam Hussein, for example.
Yeah.
He never had the least expectation even in his own dream.
You're right.
He could be handpicked and he could be hung up.
It was he never had that.
Right, and we did it.
Right.
All right. It's in his own territory.
Right, in his own territory.
And we handpicked him, and we did what we want to do.
Yeah.
So, right now, big as we are, strong as we are, I hope that he sees that. Probably he has already seen that.
I don't think he's dumb, you know. I mean, he's only 34 years old, so he's got 50 years or 40 years.
34 or 38?
I think 34, but I might be wrong. Yeah, I haven't looked at his birth certificate. But I think he came into power when he was 27 when his dad died. But I mean, his choice is real simple. You know, be the leader of a growing economy that can help his people and solidify his power. How can you say no to that? Because America's not going to then go in and regime change and just do all that. But if they start, you know, they were shooting missiles over Japan. Holy cow! How do you think Abe felt? And President Trump, by the way, will be meeting with the Japanese leader Abe today. All these things are exciting. What's going on in New York today? And so, you know, you have to have hope and you have to have patience. And I don't know. Oh, and what I was dreaming about, you know, you got to dream too.
To give it the
what? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, think what America could accomplish if the radical Democrat leadership would work with President Trump. Think what America could be. It could be three times more glorious.
To give it the wildest guess, though.
Yeah.
What will be the timeline as we go from here?
North Korea?
Yeah.
Well, we would hope that by the end of President Trump's first administration, or maybe last, who knows, okay, that it will be irreversible, the progress toward a denuclearized Korean peninsula.
I really wish that they end at the second term, the first term.
Yeah.
And starting the second term, though, they started to put up a show to show a new North America. And by end of second term, you're looking at a different country.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
If there's 6 more
In
years.
6 more years, well, if something can be done that way, that really proved to the rest of the folks, rest of the world, whoever wants to do the same thing, repeat the same thing, okay, here's the example.
Yeah.
You can see Saddam Hussein.
Right.
Go,
didn't work out well.
Yeah, go bring a flower to wherever he buries.
Yeah, right.
Or you can visit the Kim.
Right. That's right. That's right. And also that it would be really good. I really don't know why Iran, we'll talk about it later, but just, you know, doesn't just try to be a little more civilized in terror. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's an uncivilized world.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the only reason.
Yeah.
All right. My dear friend,
You're
lovely
so good.
audience, so let's take a very short moment out. We come back, we'll pick up other aspects for this weekly update where there's lots going on. So stay with us, please. Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with a weekly update with my friend Ken Hemming. Well, we are getting optimistic because we do see optimistic signs enough for us to feel happy, to feel bright, light-minded, and all thanks to the speech, the statement made clear by the President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, to the rest of the world, who we are, what we want, and what we are doing, right? Of course, you can choose not to follow us, as long as you do not interfere what we are doing, though, we're okay with it. Other than that, good examples, bad examples, there are examples for you to reference. That's it, right? We're strong enough, we're friendly enough, we have everything enough to deal with anything.
And we're strong enough, yeah.
Of course, we're enough in everywhere, every aspect.
We are enough.
Right? And we have enough everything to deal with anything, right?
We do.
Yeah, sure.
With the right leadership.
Yes. Now that North Korea seems to be on track, right, we so far, for the time being, do not have to worry about a lot, right? Just wait, like you said, for the process, right? And it takes time. It takes time, right? So in the meantime, we want to focus to Iran, see what the Iranians are doing. Do you think they will follow the examples of Kim Jong-un?
Well, I kind of don't think so for one simple reason. They are stuck in the ideology of Islam. So they're an ideology country and not a political country. Now, there are politics happening over there. The basic people of Iran are really demonstrating a lot for greater powers to the people. And what happened, they just had an attack on the Iranian military guard, which are really Khomeini and personal kind of death squad, okay? And so some of the people actually had a gunfire attack and killed 27 of the Iranian guard. Now that's a bad deal. You're not going to end up in good shape afterwards if they catch you. But that was a violent act against the Iranian regime. That hasn't happened much before. Now, so when you've got this ideology, because they almost can't live without the ideology of Islam, but maybe they can make some adjustments to it. I hope so, particularly if they think that their existence, because it wasn't a Islamic country before. We had the Shah before, way back, 1976 or whatever. That was pretty interesting, and we were really good friends. I have a lot of Iranian friends. A ton of Iranians came to Beverly Hills in the area in America. They're really fine people. But when Trump said a couple times at the United Nations that when Iran says death to America and has their purpose to eliminate Israel from the face of the earth, he says we can't live with that. And so we're putting all the economic sanctions. There are more that are going into effect in November that will squeeze Iran's economy.
You are typically right in this whole area. I'm talking about the fact that you put North Korea and Iran together. You see the difference
Big difference.
The big difference that North Korea does not have.
Yes.
Right. They have North Korea, they have the uncontrolled wanton of developing their nuclear weapon. That's it.
Yeah.
Have it, not have it, destroy it, not destroy it, you are over one issue, right? Whereas with the Iranians, you are dealing with two aspects. Number one, their military, the wanton part, right? Okay. And number two, the Islamic mind.
Right. Which is structured in concrete.
Which is stronger than their wishfulness of their nuclear power.
Yes, sir.
Right.
You're right.
Now,
very well stated.
How we are in the Western world handling these two, right? Sometimes the two are even contradictory to each other.
They can't be handled the same.
Yeah, they can't be handled the same.
Right.
Suppose even if they want to surrender, and the religious bindings,
yes, sir,
will restrict them from so.
Right.
So what is your take? Or have you heard anybody who has a better take?
Well, okay, here's things that are on our side. One thing that's on our side is the Arabic countries over there Iran is their enemy also. And so we're pretty well bonding better and better with the Arab countries to resist Iranians' desire for expansion and for elimination of Israel and for hatred to America. Now, where we're getting resistance is the European countries, because when we got out of the Iran nuclear agreement, President Trump has told our friends in Europe, do not do business with Iran. And Macron, I call him the French leader, I call him macaroni because I heard somebody call him macaroni. I like it, it's cute. And then Theresa May from England, they're still trying to keep that Iranian agreement going and want to do business with Iran. Now we're not, and Trump is putting tremendous pressure on them for that. And I believe, I don't know what's going to happen there because they're at risk too, these European countries.
Of course.
You know, also Iranian is very involved with Syria, you know, in a negative way for our desires. I would like to see the European countries, bond with us and just stop doing business with them. When they get hungry and they're not expanding and they don't have enough money, they will change.
The European unions are too cunning to get involved in the whole thing, right? Be it French, be it English, nobody would even do it, right? They kind of stand by because they have their own big Islamic problems.
Well, they certainly have created their own Islamic problems.
They don't want to trigger it into getting bigger, right?
Well, that's a very, very fine point.
The only thing is that between Iran and Israel, is there anything that you can...
Any hope?
Yeah.
I can't find it.
You can't find it?
I can't find it. The only hope is that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. And I believe that we would not allow that to happen.
Would somewhat with the Israeli involvement and we behind Israel
Well, we are...
do the job?
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, Israel, even by themselves, if they think they're close enough to have a nuclear weapon, they will attack Iran. They're ready. Israel has nuclear weapons. We provided that and everything, and they have great fighters, airplanes as well as individuals.
That is my point.
Yeah, no.
Hope that Israel will do the job.
Yeah.
Instead of us.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of instead, because before I'm confident Israel did not believe that President Obama would back them up and would participate in their self-defense, as they do believe President Trump would participate in their self-defense or the offensive military activities if necessary. So there's a new sheriff in town. We properly moved the capital to Jerusalem, and that was a huge thing. That takes one of the negotiating issues off the table when trying to work out a peace agreement. I believe if anybody can get some sort of coexistent peace agreement, President Trump can.
Good move to totally win Israel, right? Israel is totally, of course, we're allies. We're no problem with that ever.
Right.
But will be more on our side though. So next thing that we don't have to do anything with Iran to tackle directly, and probably Israel will do it.
Well, no.
Just give Israel enough weapon.
If anything happens, like for example, the Iranians, they used to kind of shoot at some of our military things. And remember, they took over one of our military boats and had about 13 guys with their hands behind their neck, with machine guns on them. And Obama let them get away with it.
Yeah.
They fire one little wanton bullet at an American naval vessel over there. Whoever fired it will not exist for long. There'll be, instant response, period. That's the line. That's the red line that will not be blurred. So, and they haven't done it. Just like Kim from North Korea hasn't kept practicing, shooting his missiles. When somebody knows that a stronger country, militarily America, will respond instantly if you cross certain lines, it does have a big effect. Just like you. I mean, if you're sitting there with 3 pistols, and I know if I call you a bad name, you're going to shoot me. I'm not going to call you a bad name. It has effect.
Yeah, I know. The problem is that they are willing to sacrifice. They're willing to die. That's the problem.
That's true. That is a problem.
Yeah. So, to North Korea, though, you want to deter them. You want to scare them, right? Because they want to live.
Right, and they're willing. And they do. They want to live.
They want to live.
Right.
They're not willing to die.
Right.
With them, you cannot
Kim does not
scare
want to die.
them. I mean, with the Iranians, with the Iran, with the Muslim Iranians, they're willing to die. They don't care about what you say.
I think part of the long-term solution for Iran are the people of Iran that will not eternally stick with this regime. There could be a revolution.
But it's sealed. It's a sealed environment. You cannot even get in.
Well, I guarantee we have people in there, but I don't know who they are or where they are. But what you're saying is good. Yeah,
you cannot get in,
right.
Because that is our major challenge, or even bigger challenge, because they are the ones that's the head scratcher for the whole world. Nobody has a solution.
And the regime is willing to kill their own people to keep their power. America is not going to quite kill our own people to keep the power in the government.
If they go that way, though, they are against the humanism,
Well,
and
they
then that gives us a good excuse to go handpick them.
Right.
To handpick,
We hope it doesn't have
to
come
have
to
somebody
that.
on the rope. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, remember, Jack, and I'm no expert on this, but Iran and Iraq had a war, kind of a big, long, violent war. 1 million guys died in that war, guys and girls.
Which one? There are two of them.
Well, okay, whatever the last one where 1 million people died. Iraq and Iran, holy cow. I don't even know what the outcome of the whole thing was. I think there was no outcome. There was no winner, there was no loser. They just finally ran out of guys to die or something. Very, very, very tragic. You know how many bodies? 1 million guys?
Yeah,
it's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's and they're all young, nice guys. They're not, just because you're in the Iranian
I
or the
always think anybody. Well, whoever, soldier, even the enemies, they are husband. Somebody's
Absolutely.
husband, somebody's father, somebody's mother, son, whatsoever, right?
But see, certain circumstances and planet Earth have put the mentality into citizens of different countries that put their willingness to die over their love of their own family. For example, Japan in World War II. They were all willing.
Okay, that's another issue. Some other time we won't talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a short moment now. When we come back for our fourth segment. Stay with us, please. Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on your East-West show with the GNE TV. With me today, my good friend, Ken Hemming. Together, we're having lots of fun. And into the fourth segment, let's see if we shall have fun or not. It is quite a while going back and forth, zigzag a little bit, while some seesawing thing going on with the nomination of Judge Kavanaugh versus the accusations, right? So far, how do you view the going back and forth?
Well, I don't think it's back and forth. I think it all comes from the radical left leadership of our Democratic Party, and that these accusations against Kavanaugh are false, foolish, evil in the soul. And today they came out with the new one. Brett Kavanaugh is a lovely human being that puts me to shame in comparison, okay? And I try to be a good guy. But he's really a pure guy, great family, good Catholic upbringing, and the left is they hate Trump so much they are willing to do anything to ruin his reputation, life, that of his wife, and that of his kids. There's death threats against his kids, and they're just little girls, teenage girls. America has never had this disregard for civility, for the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. There are Democratic senators say, no, he must prove himself innocent or he's guilty. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's beyond comprehension. And so the evil that is in there, and it's only if it's a conservative Republican or something, because Booker and Brown and Keith Ellison are Democratic people, big leaders, and they all, Ellison's beat the heck out of his girlfriend and has restraining orders. Sherrod Brown, restraining orders by the police against him. And Booker was bragging about groping teenage girls, grabbing them, whatever, when he was young. And the left doesn't care about that. Oh, that's okay. He's a Democrat. So it's so evil. I really lose sleep over this. Tomorrow there's a hearing, supposedly. I don't think that the lady, the first accuser, will show up, but she might. And then when they were planning this to have both Kavanaugh and the lady talk, they were saying, you can't have a bunch of old white guys talk.
There is a hearing. They will come testify tomorrow.
I don't think she'll show up.
Well, she says it. She says she will.
Her attorneys, no, Dianne Feinstein, who I really disfavor in humanity, says she may not show up. She said that.
When did she see that? When did she say
yesterday.
That? All right. I heard this morning.
Yeah.
This is over the news this morning. This is confirmed that both of them will face-to-face appear for the testimony.
And we won't know till tomorrow.
We won't.
We won't know till the last second. But first they were saying you can't have a bunch of white guys talking to this girl, okay, with this woman. And now, so then Grassley.
However, you know Mr. James Lee, right?
I like Mr. Lee.
Mr. James Lee was the former
I respect him a lot.
presidential consultant for both
Bushes.
Both Bushes,
Yeah.
Bush 41 and 43.
Yeah.
I interviewed him a week ago.
Yeah.
Right. I asked him his opinion about that. He says he's the following. Not exactly his real quote though.
Yeah, sure.
He says under the structure of democracy, this kind of hearing is necessary. Nothing wrong there.
Well, what he says is fine.
And that there are longer hearings, there are shorter hearings. To look at the length of the hearing so far, it is all right.
Well,
What is not all right to him was that the Dianne Feinstein, Senator Dianne Feinstein received the letter back in July. No, June.
June.
He said
Okay,
June.
whatever. I think it's July, but that's fine.
Back in June.
Yeah.
If she released it in July, the same thing, instead of starting in September, may start in July.
It would have been all resolved by now.
Yeah, it would have been either testified or confirmed or not confirmed or investigated or denied or dropped off whatsoever. Well, by then we'll see a clear picture.
Right, I know.
And then the third layer, he says that the premises was that we look at into October first week, the Supreme Court supposed to
Convene
resume,
again, right.
to resume hearing cases.
Right.
Now, when the
We
case
want him
hearing
confirmed.
starts already, when hearing start already, and then it's only 4-4. When you reach the 4-4, it's the waste of taxpayers' money. It's a joke. So if we started it back in July, we would satisfy this category. Now we can't.
Right.
For that part, he says he feels sorry about it.
Right. Now, what I will say, look, I respect that guy flawlessly, but he also sort of assumes that there's a respect for democracy, and there is not in the radical leadership of the Democratic Party. They do not respect the Constitution. They are happy to violate, happy to break laws, happy to harass, like Senator Cruz, put people in his face and throw him and his wife out of a deal. So they are not participating in democratic deals.
You and him are talking a different thing. You're talking about what they do, right? So he is talking about democracy does allow things of that nature,
of course,
to go back and forth.
But the leadership of the Democratic Party is not following in a democratic manner. They're not respecting the democracy.
No, I'm not arguing with you.
Okay,
please stand on the same ground with me.
Okay.
The ground being that democracy process does allow the confirmation, does allow the question, does allow the hearing. Right, regardless, right? And it's only the process of hearing goes fishy because you should have it done earlier, sooner than later.
It was very evil.
That is the part Mr.
What they
Lee
did is evil.
There's the part where Mr. Lee stands. Plus, he says, well, it smells a little bit Me Too.
It's horrible. It's evil. To accuse this guy of things that are just not even possible in terms of who he is as a human being it's just evil.
I don't know him. Do you know him?
Well, I did listen to over 30 hours of him, so I know him a lot, probably closer than you do. I know his mind. I know how he expresses his soul.
No, I'm only talking about.
I haven't shaken his hand.
Let's talk about logic.
Yeah.
Right? The logic meaning we are not there at the party. Am I right?
There was no party, Jack.
Nobody. No, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody was there, right? Nobody can say. Nobody can say who did what or who didn't do what.
Right.
Right. So it's something out of the air, only because she's a woman, right? And she says so. Okay, we sit down, we talk, we give her a fair hearing to find out if it really happened or not. To this point, nothing. To this point, there's nothing that hurt Mr. Kavanaugh.
Well, are you kidding me? His daughters have been threatened to be killed. He is in fear of his life. Yes.
Yeah, all right. Good,
Yes.
good.
And his reputation is trying to tarnish it.
Do we have evidence if the threat is reliable?
Well, if you
from
want
the reliable resources, though, we can accuse the guy who threats. We can put him in jail.
Do you want to wait till there's a dead body to see if it was a real
No.
threat?
I'm not saying I want that. No. I'm not saying I want a dead body.
Right.
I was saying that if there's a threat there, we put that into court, into the hearing. How about that?
Justice does not happen in a very fast way. So what's going on? So anyway, just cannot wait to get up tomorrow morning, see what's going on. I'll probably be driving during the hearing up to Ojai with my brother's birthday. But this what's going on? Then to come up this porn star lawyer Avenatti, who represented Stormy Daniels. He brings this thing out at the very last second. He pulled himself off Twitter for a day, so nothing could be attached to him. Anyway, what's going on? And here's what's going to happen. If by any chance, like there's 4 Republican senators, people are worried about, are they going to, maybe say, well,
yeah,
maybe,
they can say, let's vote regardless.
Well, no, there'll be a vote. There'll be a vote. It'll either be Friday or Tuesday. There'll be a vote.
All right.
And if the Republicans...
Let's wait if they say, okay, regardless whatsoever.
Next Wednesday...
let's vote.
We'll be talking about this next Wednesday. And also, people, it is so transparently fallacious, these accusations, that people, even regular Democrats, are getting angry with the tactics that are being perpetrated upon Kavanaugh. And that's going to help the Trump agenda in the November election, I believe. And I could be wrong.
That's exactly what Mr. James Lee is talking about. He says, well, the system problem is that it allows it to happen that way.
Yeah. Well, that's democracy.
As how you take advantage of it, that's a different story.
In an honorable or dishonorable way.
Sure.
And they're being very dishonorable.
You can play in a very dishonorable way by taking advantage of the system.
But the hypocrisy of this, when you've got Keith Ellison, the cops have been at the house. He's a restraining orders.
But there is a
there's
a brand new accusation. They're talking about massive raping.
It's asinine. The very last day, before this hearing tomorrow, they come up with this. Do you think
I am talking about there is a new accusation. I'm not talking about it, true or not. I'm talking about,
it's
to the surprise of your eye, to my eye, to everybody's eye, we're talking about, oh my God, there's another one.
Nothing surprises me as to the degree of evil that the leadership in our Democratic leadership can perpetrate upon our country.
All right.
Nothing is a surprise.
I thought this is only show.
This was not fun.
This only show he and I did not argue, but we did argue a little bit. But we're not arguing.
We're good.
No, we're not doing the heavy. We're good, right?
We love
all
America.
I'm saying is that, regardless of right or wrong, to do it at this moment by following the system, it is right. It is the system allows, right? If something wrong, the system is wrong. The bureaucracy system is wrong, all right? My dear friend, that wraps up our weekly update for this week with my friend Ken Hammy. We had lots of a good time. Thank you very much for watching. And to
Thank
Ken,
you, Jack.
thank you.
Love you, love your viewers.
Love you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.